but it is looking like a little bit of a failed auction. Interesting. So my thoughts on TRVL. Okay. It's a hard one really, because we're getting whales buy the price up at key levels, but there's no follow through. Absolutely no follow through. That's what I'm seeing right now. And I think until we get into like a price action behavior that mimics this, then we're not going to really get another nice long consolidation area like this. I think we're in a very kind of volatile range right now when it comes to the price, because there's obviously some bigger token holders who are buying the price up at Q levels, and this, the point of control is a key level. I think it's very clear that the point of control is offering support right now. Yeah. So while people might be eyeing up the all-time low at 19 cents or so, I think there's no way to begin to consider that level at the lows while the point of control is holding as support, which it is. Yeah. And the price was bought up from the point of control. Now, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost 7 days of 7 days of price action were taken out in one day by one move up. Yeah, 7 days. And we could get this kind of repetitive behavior where you get more selling and you push, you get more selling and you push, you get more selling and push. And the question is, there's two questions really. How much liquidity, how much capital this whale or these whales have? Is it unlimited? And are people just going to keep on selling into that? Is this just going to continue? Like, I think eventually what you would expect if this continued is the point of control to give way as support, and I think it's really important now that we try to hold a higher range. In my mind, I think bullish price action and bullish price behavior would not be to go right back down to this previous lower range again. Like, I don't really want to, I kind of want us to step up in ranges just in the same way that we were stepping down in ranges as the price was coming down. I kind of want the price to go up as well, like in step up. So you have this point of control, which is clearly offering the support. Like, even though it didn't touch, I would consider that as a touch, because the point of control isn't like a line, it's a little area. And obviously different exchanges have slightly different values, so you would consider that as touched. But clearly there's a lower range, and we lost it, we reclaimed it, and then we lost it again. And so right now, this is the previous range, and for a short period of time we were back into that range. Yeah. And even though I have like a red dividing line here, the previous volume range is actually a bit lower on this blue line here. So there is definitely a range here that we re-entered for a short period of time. And at the time I said that, you know, like really what I want to see is I want to see the price go up again quickly. I wanted to see the price reject from this lower area, which it did, which is great. I mean, it's clearly a sign of strength. This isn't weakness, that's strength, you know, because it was very unexpected. I think a lot of people were expecting more bearish continuation, and the reverse happened. And if you look at the volume, it was increasing green volume, so it is bullish, you know. The green moves are bullish, the upward moves are bullish moves, they're not bearish moves. Yeah, coming back into a higher range, it is bullish, you know, it's not bearish. So that was the original range that we had. And then if I do a pull on this, pretty much the same. So let me just take the full amount, and then let me just take all of the data to see where we are. All right, so maybe this is what's happening right now. Maybe, like, I don't want to, like, it's hard to see, it's hard to tell. Maybe the whole range is now one range, you know, like maybe before we were looking at this as a previous lower range, this is the current higher range, and you kind of wanted it to range in this higher range before trying to make another move up to the next kind of area of interest. And obviously the longer the price consolidates at these higher prices, yeah, the more people are going to get interested to take the price up, you know, because I think there's a lot of interest in TRVL right now, and I think the interest is growing on a daily basis. And I think there's a lot of anticipation for the future in terms of the search engine, which is going to be launched, Sensei. That's happening, relatively speaking, very soon. There's a lot of big developments when it comes to Dtravel, especially this wallet as a service, which has been launched or is launching. And it's been confirmed now that the network of choice is Polygon, because when I went on to Dtravel yesterday, the night tokens, you need to put in your Polygon address, your Matic address. So obviously, and the bookings now are on Matic. This is a new development. So that's a big step in terms of Dtravel, because before only people could book their vacations on Dtravel using the Binance network. Not everyone uses Binance. And so now this opens it up to the Ethereum crowd, which is great. So there's a lot of positive developments. And I think, like, when I'm looking at this, I mean, it is possible that we are in like just one larger range. It is very possible. Yeah. So maybe, I mean, I like to think that this range was the range and it wouldn't come back in. If I was to take that out now, could we be in this just top half of this range now? And we could just be range bound like this. Could this happen? Yeah, it is possible. And so less important would be this range. If this price action continued like this previous range here would become less relevant, because now we're in like a bigger range. But the thing is, it'd be more bullish if it would look more bullish if we didn't come back down, you know. And that's the thing, like, it's always more bullish for the price to sit in the highs of ranges. You don't ever want the price to come to the lows. Yeah. And as the price is continuing and continuing to range, like, look, in this mini range here we have a point of control. is there interest? Are we going to see people take interest? You know, is there interest at these levels? And these are, you know, people are looking at the price and they're going 3.6 cents. Is there interest in this price? Or are they preferring lower? Like there's clearly interest at 3.1, 3.2. Is there interest at 3.6? There's clearly no interest at 4.4 because we just had a rejection from 4.4, another rejection. Yeah. And we didn't go higher. We didn't take the liquidity from this high. It was a lower high. See that? That's a lower high. Yeah. So actually what I would like to see is a higher low. And maybe then we can kind of come to a conclusion about the price and kind of tighten the price up and then decide which direction we're heading. You know, are we forming some kind of triangle? You know, are we gonna, and then decide? And I think that would be considered very acceptable behavior if the price was to do that, where it kind of slowly tightens up and tightens up and tightens up until it figures out whether it's actually really wants to go up or whether it wants to go down. You know, no one can predict the outcome of these kinds of breakouts, but naturally when you have significant points of control underneath you and when you have moving averages tending to underneath us, you would kind of, your bets, your money would be on up, you know. But let's see how this behaves. You see the price can also quickly lose these moving averages quickly. Now we're back above the moving averages. That's quite good, but the ones that I really care about are the daily ones. I'm not really too interested in the lower time frames, to be honest with you. I'm not particularly interested in lower time frames. And when I'm looking at the higher time frames, let me do a couple of things now. So this 50 moving average is still, the price is still reacting. Not, see, even though it didn't react, it is a little bit of a reaction. But actually we'd have a confirmation of reaction and when if the price comes and then reacts like that. Like I've seen that happen, and that could happen, right? And naturally I can see the 200 slightly turning, so that's interesting. The price is still above this kind of golden cross situation, which is good, which is what you want to see. It would have been pretty bad for the price to kind of start falling down, and that would have been pretty bad, you know, really. And we're not there, so we don't have to worry about it now. And we are kind of holding these lows, which is good. So I think the price action is still quite good, you know. Like I think as the price drops, I'm seeing it more like I wanted to see strength, which I did, and now I'm starting to see it as an opportunity to buy again, you know. So again, it's the same situation. It's like you want to see strength, you want to buy into strength, or you want to buy lower. You don't want to buy weakness. And this is kind of what you want to see. You want to see that the price is being consumed by a bigger players that are buying up the price. If I have a look at the Bitcoin chart, so we are close to forming a golden cross on the Bitcoin daily chart, and we are above the point of control. That's bullish. So I think as long as we can hold the point of control on Bitcoin, then we're kind of creating a recipe for a future move up. Again, on the ETH chart, we are close to forming some kind of golden cross. So that's potentially a really bullish development to have a golden cross on all the charts, and for the price to be above the golden cross is quite a bullish development, you know. So it's something to bear in mind. I had a couple of questions from the community and a couple of points, and I just wanted to address them actually. So I'm going to do that now quickly. Let me have a look. So someone made a comment on my Twitter yesterday. I'm going to address that now. This guy, Jake Formoso. He's got no followers. He's a snowboarder. I snowboard. So we have a lot in common already. Crypto and snowboarding. Is that him? That's lovely. That looks amazing. He's got no posts. Let me see. So he's obviously, so Jake, you're obviously a little bit upset, right? Because how about you partner with a bet exchange so people aren't FKD'd by BSUD changes? Hi Jake, thank you for your feedback. We understand the frustration. You can use Gate to swap between them. I mean, I honestly, Jake, I do feel for you. You know, I don't like that response either. Yeah, I'm not fond of this response either. So I do understand what you're saying. And what else have you written? Why would you expect people to go and make accounts all over the place? Some people can't use Gate. You guys need to pick up. Look, I'm totally on the same page with you when it comes to your frustration. You know, I'm frustrated too. So last year you were very positive. Definitely interested in seeing what Dtravel does to Airbnb, right? You'll find you. So before you were very positive, and now you're kind of a bit annoyed, right? And I think the reason why Jake is annoyed is quite simply because since last year the price just kept on dropping, and there was, you know, it's really frustrating because you know, look at that. Of course, that's really frustrating. Like, how you know, how rubbish is that? That's rubbish. Making a new all-time low is rubbish. Yeah, and I'm with you. You know, like Jake, I'm with you. You know, bro. I think you don't even know listening to all of this. Well, I do know how the markets work. Yeah, markets are all about liquidity. It's all about the price always follows liquidity. It always follows the buyers and the sellers. So if there are more buyers, the price will go up, and if there's more sellers, the price will go down. It's very simple. Now, for the price to go up, you need more buyers, but when you have created volume on the way down, then you're going to need more volume on the way up, because you need to reverse the volume on the way down. That's just the way it works. Now, if you have a different idea, I'm happy to have a conversation with you about what you think about how the markets work. But fundamentally, what you're seeing in the price and what you're seeing in volume is about supply and demand. It's about interest and lack of interest. And what I think we've been experiencing in the last year is a lack of interest. I'm not seeing crazy downward selling, yeah, which would indicate serious amounts of bearish. I'm not seeing that kind of crazy bearish behavior, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, we can have a difference of opinion. But I think if we were like, I think if I started seeing really high selling, pushing the price down, like increasing lower prices, increasing volume, that would look really bad. Yeah, because people are just dumping and they just don't care. I'm not really seeing that. What I'm seeing is a lack of interest. quite, and I have my idea of why we have a lack of interest. Okay, it's, for me, it's the marketing. Yeah, I think the marketing has been poor. I think the marketing still is poor. I think people come to the website, they don't really understand what it is. And how many times do you, like, I'm not the only one saying this, that's the thing. Like, so many people have said that the marketing is bad, but what can we do? Like, what can I do? I can only raise the issues, and ultimately the people who are running the show have to decide what needs to be done. How do they, like, I can't, I'm not in a position to make those decisions. I can just highlight the issues. I feel like what we're experiencing this down move is a lack of interest. Yeah. And I feel like now the interest is picking up a little bit, right? Not because of the marketing. Yeah. Because of the bull run, because of the bull market. So right now, a lot of people who are looking and investigating small cap market, micro cap coins and tokens, and naturally, you know, people will have a look at Dtravel and TRVL and see what it's all about. It would just be part of their do your own research. That's what I'm seeing. And they'll go on YouTube, they'll go on Twitter, they'll go onto the website, they'll investigate. And certain people, and then obviously sometimes the TRVL goes up 100%, and you'll get this kind of like flashes, you know, like most volume in a day or most price increase in these like Twitter feeds. And people have a look at TRVL and go, what the hell is this? They'll go and do a little bit of research, and some people will be drawn to the project because of the positive aspects of the project, which is what you highlighted on in your post. You know, you know, you said you'll be quite interested to see how it impacts Airbnb. Yeah. And I feel your frustration with this. I'm having the same problems, you know, between BEP and 20 and ERC, you know, like what the hell. I think there's been some real problems, and I think part of that has been a lack of experience. A lack of experience. So actually, I haven't shown the screen, so people haven't got a clue what I'm talking about. I should have done that. Let me go to my Twitter so people can see. Let me see. Hold on a second, guys. There it is. So there you are, Jake. I do feel that they're making these changes now. So wallet as a service is a big deal, and that's going to basically allow everyone to have a wallet on Dtravel. And I think with a startup, you're going to expect a lot of transitional changes, and in the first instance, you know, it requires development time and it requires other things. And I think we're getting to a place now where things are starting to become more streamlined and effective in terms of meeting the needs of the users. So we just have to, I feel like we have to give them a little bit more time, and I think we just have to keep on raising the issues. So I think someone's already reached out to you, and if they haven't, then just keep on pressing, and I'll keep on making videos. And then I still disagree with you if you don't think that we're at the lows, and we can just agree to disagree. But my analysis is based on the price action, based on the volume, based on the way we're taking liquidity from the highs. Look, this is the weekly time frame. We've come into the weekly 50 moving average 5 times already. Yeah, eventually it will give way. You know, that's like you test the level many times, eventually it gives way, eventually it breaks. It's just the way it works. Now we might have a difference of opinion, but if you say that I don't understand how it works, well, we can have it, we can agree to disagree. You tell me what you think is going on. And then at the end of the day, in the future, one of us is going to be right. If you want, we'll place a bet on it, a sportsman's bet, if you like. But ultimately, I think that we are starting to see a bullish price action, and we're starting to see a reversal, right? And seeing these wicks in the highs, in the lows of a higher time frame range is, in my mind, it's bullish. Yeah. And if I was to reverse it to see that kind of price action, if this was the correct, if this was the highs, and to see these wicks falling down like that, that would be pretty bearish. Yeah, the price coming down. It's like, take what you're seeing here is liquidity is being taken, the price is coming back but closing lower, and that's bearish. Yeah, if it was bullish in this context, you take liquidity and the price would be going up now. You'd be making new highs. Yeah, we're not seeing that yet. And so I think until we lose levels, I can't be bearish until we're above the point of control. I can't be bearish. Point of control right now on the whole range is offering support, right? See, it's offering support. So why would I be bearish if we're still on support? It doesn't, I don't, like, my mind doesn't function like that. If we start losing the point of control, sure, let's get bearish, let's head to the lows. I agree with you, but we're not there yet. And because we're not there yet, I will continue to be bullish, because in my mind, it's only 47 or so % to the lows, and to back to the all-time high, as I said in my previous stream, it's like a 400% up, right? That's just price action. It's got nothing to do with fundamentals. It's just the charts. So I might, like I said, I've got higher targets, but it doesn't mean that we're going to get there. That's why you take profit along the way, right? Just in case it doesn't get there, okay? And eventually you take enough profit so that if your trade goes bad, you're still winning. That's how traders do it, and I'm not suggesting any different for anyone. But I think we're onto a winner, and we can have a conversation about this for many reasons, and it may not be the obvious ones, right? Look, I think if we want to create a DAO, which is what we do want to do, then we all have to give our opinions and participate, and eventually they will have to decide whether they want it to be a DAO or not. Because from the onset, and everything that I've understood from the people that I've had a conversation with, ultimately it will be a DAO. It will be run by the DAO, right? The DAO will hold the exec to account, and it's going to be in a public discourse. It's going to be with public debate and open conversation and transparency through and through. If it doesn't pan out like that, I tell you something, people will bail. I will bail. I will move on. Everyone will move on. Because if they start out saying that it's going to be a DAO, and if they don't fulfill on their promises, no one's going to hang around. And the price will crash. Yeah? Because people will dump their positions. They will sell. And they'll probably wait until there's an exchange launch, but they'll do it. You're not going to see interest, and I think all that will, like, I mean, I'm imagining two scenarios, right? And it all depends on what happens in the future, right? I think we're in the Bitcoin bull market, and I think eventually most coins will pump. Yeah, most coins will pump, right? So even if nothing happens in the short term, even if this price action goes sideways for the next year, like, this is like, it's not really realistic. Let's just say, like, let's imagine that this is gonna do this, and this is doing this, right? Let's imagine that we see this now for the next period of time. It's possible. A lot of people are going to get really annoyed, right? eventually the price will go up, eventually. Yeah, because of the bull market, because of the hype, because of the hysteria, because of the FOMO and all this kind of rubbish that happens in the last part of the bull market. That a lot of altcoins are going to go parabolic, and there's no reason why this doesn't behave in that way. It will. Yeah, like the probability is high that it will. There's no, and so for a short period of time we will kind of do that. It will look really parabolic. Yeah, and it may not just be in a straight line. It may be like that, you know, like it may be kind of like up, down, and then up again, and then maybe what, like a 5 wave. Maybe that last bit is a bit crazy. Maybe you go up, and you go up, then like a wave 5, and that's done. So I think regardless of anything, this kind of price action is within reach, you know, and the best that we do is we kind of maybe just go up to the all-time high and that's it. I think this price action is within reach, just in the context of a future alt season, which will happen, where Bitcoin is showing strength above the Bitcoin all-time high, and where the retail market gets involved and they FOMO into a lot of like mini coins because they see that altcoins are going parabolic and they just want to catch the move, right? This is very likely. It's very possible. Regardless of the product, it's got nothing to do with the project, this kind of price action. Nothing. It's all it is just people buying at market and just pushing the price up as much as they can, and people FOMOing in at the highs because they see parabola, right? And then ultimately probably every coin is going to behave in a similar fashion. Okay, now I don't really think that this is not going to happen. And it's got nothing to do with what happens now. It's got nothing to do with exchanges. It's got nothing to do with the tokenomics. It's got nothing to do with the sentiment now, or whether the team have the ability to deliver or not to deliver. It's got nothing to do with the marketing either, because I think this is going to happen just within crypto. And the people that do this or behave this certain way, behave like this, will do enough research to invest. There's enough people in crypto to make a $10 million market cap token 40x, which is all I'm basically suggesting, and that will take us to the all-time high 40x, and you're basically ending up with a $300 to $400 million market cap token at the highs of a Bitcoin bull run. Yeah, I think all of that is within reach, and all of that has got nothing to do with Dtravel. It's got nothing to do with TRVL, and it's got everything to do with Bitcoin and the wider market and the capital rotation and the greeds that will pour in towards the end of the bull market in that kind of 4, 5, 6 weeks of crazy alt season. We'll start seeing ETH go parabolic and BNB go parabolic and all these other kind of coins go parabolic, and ultimately at the end you'll probably see this coin will go this will look parabolic. I'm just showing you on the log chart. Now, whether this project succeeds or fails will depend on certain factors, and I think one of those factors is going to be on whether people hodl. Yeah, hodl, because at the moment the token has no value, zero value. Yeah, I'm just telling you the facts. Yeah, and you can agree with me or disagree with me, but I think you'll agree with me. At the moment the token has zero value. No one can do anything with the token right now, right? And even so now more than ever, because they've just changed it to Polygon, and so you can't even pay with TRVL right now. It's only going to happen for a short period of time. I think they're just going for an upgrade of the system, and I think part of that's to do with the Stripe upgrades and all the back-end upgrades. I think for the next few weeks you can't even use TRVL to pay. So really the token has no value right now. There's no value in the token. So on the large part, the token is extremely speculative, and most of that speculation is on the crypto bull market and Dtravel becoming widely known, and people speculating the price and pushing the price up. There is no value with the token, that 3% give back has no value. Yeah, I can attest to that, because I've had for 15 bookings, and the time and the effort and the energy doesn't equate to the value I get back from TRVL. I've said that. I've raised this issue. But unfortunately, I'm not dealing with people who are in my position, and it's a long conversation, and we just have to have that conversation. We just have to keep on debating this until the community can get around the truth and the facts, and then persuade the team to give control to the DAO. Yeah. And at the moment that hasn't happened, and I think we're having conversations about that regularly on Telegram. Now, at the end of the day, if they don't do that, this project has failed, because they've said they're going to do something. If they don't do that, the project is as good as over, finished. Yeah. They have no choice. Yeah. Doesn't matter what this, it doesn't matter whether they like me or like anyone, whatever the sentiment is. They've said that this is going to be a DAO. This is going to be run by the DAO. So if they don't make it a DAO, then this project is over, basically. Unfortunately, I don't want it to happen, and I'm not going to hope for it to happen. I'm going to work hard for it to not happen, but that will basically be suicide for this project, because they'll lose confidence in people like me. Yeah. I think that's quite detrimental for the future, if they're losing confidence from early adopters, early investors, and people who have helped to contribute to making the product in the first instance. I think that's really, that would be a reflection of so many bad things that exist, that no one would want to participate in the future of that. I don't think that exists. I really don't. I have confidence in the team. I have confidence in Cynthia. I have confidence in Eric. I have confidence in all of them. I think that they are going to turn out. Yeah. But ultimately, even if they don't turn out, I think I have confidence enough in Cynthia to put the right people who will. Yeah. I think I have enough confidence in her to make the right decisions, to make this a success. Okay. Anyway, that's by the by. This is what I envision if nothing works. Yeah. Ultimately, I don't want this, because I don't like the idea of this project being sold into at the highs and people not hodling. And eventually what you could see in the future, if everyone sells, something like that. Like, I don't really see a reason why people are going to hold on to this token with the current tokenomics in play. Yeah. And that is a reality. Like, this is what I've been telling them. And if you go to the Dtravel website, you have a look at the token. Can't even find it. That's how bad it is, this website. And this is a new website. I don't understand. I know it is. It's, anyway, whatever. That's just my personal opinion. So I wanted to show people this website. I mean, it looks pretty, but there's a lot of vested tokens. Yeah. If you look at the tokens, there's 295 in circulation, and there's a total supply of 1 billion. So another 700 and almost 5 million haven't been released into circulation yet. Yeah. And this is part of the problem. Part of the problem that I'm seeing is the lack of information about the future, and the lack of transparency of how, who, where, when these tokens have been allocated, will be allocated, will be released. You know, like, as an investor, this doesn't give anyone confidence. And I've said this, and I'll continue to say, I think we should all say this, because until they hear it repetitively from the community, unfortunately, you know, sometimes you live in an echo chamber. You don't hear the truth. You just hear what the people around you are telling you. And oftentimes the opinions match, And so it's really important that people with a diverse idea of a diverse array of opinions speak out. For me, this none of this makes sense, and that's part and parcel of the tokenomics. And so down the line, I think we're going to get into a situation where people have enough increase in value on the token just because of Bitcoin, yeah, and everyone will sell. Like literally every single token, they'll sell it. They'll be finished, yeah, and there'll be no reason to hold. There'll be no reason to hodl, regardless, because the token has no value, yeah. And creating a token that has value just by the mediocre utility that's being developed isn't enough to justify the augmentation of value at the peak of a bull market, the increase in value of a bull market. Yeah. So even if they create so much utility, look, here it is. Operator of rewards, traveler rewards, stay keys, access features, payments, gas fees, operator discounts, traveler discounts, access data, governance. When you're sitting on an increase in value where your portfolio is now 40x at the highs or more, yeah, because of all of these features, why would you hodl? There's not enough usability value. There's no reason to hold so much value in this project with everything that's being suggested here. Gas fees, you know, how much TRVL are people really going to need to access this economy with all of this utility? Not that much, to be honest with you. Maybe a couple of $1,000, maybe $10,000 max, yeah. So if you have an increase in value where people are sitting on a large sum of value, they're basically going to dispose of TRVL because the fiat value is going to be significantly more than the TRVL value, because there is no value in this network. And even if you have tens of thousands of users or millions of users, there still isn't enough value. There still isn't enough value. So you'll have economic activity, but there's no reason to have a large sum of TRVL. That's the thing that I'm saying. Like, there's no reason for that. I haven't got a reason to hodl a large sum of TRVL. And so naturally, we're in a bit of a dilemma when it comes to the tokenomics. And I think that is going to be pivotal for the future, personally. Whether people sell all of their TRVL into the highs, or whether people are willing to hodl for higher, yeah. And this is a conversation that needs to be had. This is a debate that needs to be had. And unfortunately, up till date, we've had a lot of resistance from the team, yeah. And I don't think enough people have been vocal enough about this. And ultimately, I think the DAO has to decide, because I don't know if the team have the experience when it comes to crypto to be able to do this on their own. I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. And I think we can all help them to get this token to a place where we do see higher values, and where the price isn't sold into at the highs, where people are dumping all of their tokens, where they will hodl a little bit, and then they'll be looking to reaccumulate for it to go back up. That's kind of the price action that you want for the future. You don't want people to dump. And the problem is that if we get to by the end of 25, and if we get everyone start dumping, like a massive dump, this is what's going to happen. Yeah, because there won't be enough liquidity, there won't be enough demand, and you might get one kind of buy up, but actually it will just go down. Yeah, there won't be enough demand, because the reality is that no one is going to pour millions and millions and millions of dollars into this token at the moment. It's just not going to happen. Yeah, doesn't matter how you put it. Right now there's just not enough, there's no value in this token, and that's a real problem. And I keep on saying it, I'll keep on saying it. Yeah, and that's why we're pushing for a change. Now everyone has their own opinion about how the tokenomics should work, and everyone is, and so with a lot of projects where there's a lot of value in the token, it's because the value reflects the equity in the project. And so naturally the token has value because the value is the equity. So one way of doing it would be to reflect the equity into the token value, and then the token becomes a security, right? And I know from the conversations that I've had, the team don't want to do this because they're afraid of the SEC down the line and having to deal with that kind of future dilemma. Okay, I still think the DAO decides personally, and if the DAO wants this to be a security, then let the DAO decide, let the DAO determine the future. I don't think it's a problem personally, but you know, because a lot of tokens out there are securities and they're doing fine, and they just deal with the SEC in the future when it happens, if it happens. But that's just a personal bias, but I don't even think we needed to go down that route, because my idea was that we copy Bitcoin. Yeah, that we copy Bitcoin, and we create a reward scheme based on a diminishing supply, with a fixed supply, but diminishing in the sense that you would lock up all of the remaining tokens, which is about 700 million, and then you'd create a reward scheme which would reward network activity based on some kind of halving or quartering or some kind of reduction in the rewards on a periodic basis. And I think the reward scheme for Bitcoin has absolutely works. It's an absolute success. I don't see a problem to copy that, maybe even improve on it. And you create a different narrative. You create some kind of store of value narrative. I think that would give people the confidence to hodl. But again, the conversations that I've had, I'm getting pushback. Okay, and the pushback is in the lack of debate and the lack of conversation. Like, I'm not even getting a debate. I'm getting no debate. I'm getting my ideas shut down without a debate. And I think there's a few problematic things that need to be addressed, and I'm doing my best to address them. But I feel you, like, I'm not, they don't understand. Like, look, I feel your frustration. I really do. Yeah. And I've been buying too, and I continue to buy, and I'm really bullish on this project. And at the very least, I am looking for the price to go back up to the all-time highs. Yeah. But if the team are unable to understand the things that we're saying, then most people will sell and they won't hodl, and we'll have this, and you'll be fine. You know, I think you'll be fine. I think you just, when it comes to crypto, sometimes you just have to be really patient, and you will be rewarded. But I think you make a good point. Why would people expect to make accounts? Like, Chainlit, like, you obviously have some good opinions. What is this? Bitcoin DeFi. Wait, but I think you're wrong when you say that I don't know how the markets work. I think if you want to have a conversation about that, let's have a conversation. Yeah. If you really think that I don't know how the markets work, let's have a conversation. Let's not be hostile. You know, let's have a conversation. All right, that's one comment that I wanted to address. Another comment that I wanted to address on YouTube, and I think it's good to address these comments because here, you guys can see this. Oh my God. You want 50%. All right. So it was on my video yesterday. This guy, Ogasiago 6698, he wrote, seeing how all this functions, this literally is just Airbnb, but you can use crypto. Once Airbnb offers crypto payments, then what? Also, I took note that you can't even pay with TRVL token. So what is the purpose of even holding this token? All right. So just to address the issue of the paying in TRVL, at the moment, that functionality is on pause. The reason why it's on pause is because there's been an upgrade to the version 3, which takes all of the transactions on chain, and it's all on the Polygon network. Okay, so at the moment it's on pause, but that pause is temporary, and that's the feedback that I got from the team, right? So that addresses that problem. And then secondly, Airbnb. Well, look, I'm an Airbnb superhost. I've been doing it for many years, and I can tell you that from experience that Airbnb has a lot more problems than you can ever imagine, and a lot of people now are starting to leave Airbnb because they've become a monopoly and they treat their people badly. They've been treating their hosts very badly. So it isn't just about crypto. Like, I think it's about ownership. It's about people having ownership over their own destinies, over their own businesses, over their own bookings and their own properties. And at the moment, Airbnb is in control. So if at any point in time there's a problem, I have to make myself subject to Airbnb, and they're not fair, and they're not even smart. You're not dealing with smart people. On the most part, you're dealing with machines, human machines. Yeah. So that the experiences that hosts are having now with Airbnb is extremely frustrating, and they've lost that touch. They've lost that human touch. And it all began basically with COVID. So during COVID, myself included, I lost a whole summer's worth of bookings, and I had nothing. And it wasn't my cancellation policy was strict. And instead of Airbnb telling the travelers that they should claim it on their insurance policy, they punished the hosts. They punished all the hosts. They cancelled all the bookings, and there was no compensation. And that from that moment onwards, the behavior has increasingly become hostile towards hosts. And a lot of hosts are now in a position where they're looking for something different. They're looking for something better. They're looking to take control of their own businesses. So there's a real opportunity here. And I don't think, even if Airbnb offers crypto, this isn't about crypto. It's about peer-to-peer vacation rentals. So if someone wants to book my apartments, they can do so with me directly. I prefer that because I'll give you an example. It's like Amazon Marketplace. It's like people buy and sell on Amazon, and they pay Amazon a commission, probably about 30%. But they have their own websites, and they prefer it when people come and book directly with them. Not only is there more money to be made because you're not paying this commission, or you can sell the product cheaper so the customer has a better value and possibly even a better experience. But at the end of the day, if you're not under the grip of the centralized entity which dictates their rules and their policies upon all of these businesses, so if at any point in time, whether it's Airbnb or Amazon decides they want to do something, they will force everyone to do that thing. Yeah. And with Airbnb, we're in the same situation. So if Airbnb decides to change its terms and conditions or change its policies, and they don't mind if it affects people's businesses, yeah, they would create blanket policies which can basically impact people's businesses in a detrimental way. So it's a lot deeper than just crypto payments. You know, it isn't just about crypto payments. And in all of my transactions, I've only had one crypto payment, but I've had 15 bookings, and all of the 14 have been fiat. So it isn't just Airbnb. I think this is a lot kind of it's much deeper, and it's much more profound. And also the other thing is that Airbnb charges me 15% plus tax, well, I can offer those discounts to my guests. So I don't, you know, why should I pay Airbnb 15% plus tax? If you book my apartment through Dtravel, I'll give you the 15% plus tax. I'll make it cheaper for you. And in the future, you're going to see a situation where people will search for accommodation and then they will prefer to book directly because they'll be saving a significant amount of money. And one thing I know about travelers is they like to save money. So it doesn't even matter if they pay in crypto or fiat. Fundamentally, they'll prefer to book directly because they're looking for a better experience and cheaper prices. Yeah. So I don't know if that answers your question, but it isn't just about paying in crypto. And actually, the other thing is that even if Airbnb offers crypto users won't trust Airbnb. Why would they? When there's a decentralized Web3 DAO, which is offering peer-to-peer transactions, and where the transaction is not with a centralized entity, but it's directly on the blockchain using smart contracts with the accommodation directly. Yeah, crypto users will prefer that. And that is governed by the blockchain, by the smart contract, and it's insured with a much more comprehensive and much better insurance package than Airbnb. It's better insurance than Airbnb. So there's a lot of reasons why people will use Dtravel. There's a lot of reasons why, and I think in the future, once we get our marketing sorted, we can tell the world about the future. So I hope that helps. And then I had another question on Telegram. I'm going to read it out. Let me find it. So guy, his name is Nemati. He messaged me on Telegram. He said, what's the most important thing that makes you confident on TRVL? Well, I think there's two things there's two things to consider, but I think you have Dtravel, you have TRVL, right? And ultimately, they're two separate entities, and Dtravel is like, you're asking me what makes me confident in TRVL. So basically, I think what he's asking me is what makes me confident in the price of TRVL and the future of the price of TRVL. Well, let me just address that. And there's two ways to address this. The most important thing for me when it comes to price action is the technicals. Yeah. So let me look at the technicals and answer that question, and then we can talk about the rest, the fundamentals. Okay. And so let me go to my other chart, which is gate. All right. This is my gate chart. So he's obviously looking to like buy some TRVL, and he wants to know what makes me confident about the price. Right. I guess that's what he's asking. Hold on a second. I really need to sort this out. Oh my God. What is it that I'm looking for? No. I need to sort my charts out. All right. So basically this is what makes me confident, right? when you're looking at the higher time frame, so this is the monthly time frame, right? I'm seeing some things in the charts, and maybe KuCoin is better, I don't know. But when you do a volume pool on the higher time frame, on the whole range, I'm seeing that the point of control is in the low of the range, right? And whenever the point of control is in the low of the range, it means most of the volume has been in the lows. Most of the volume is in the lows, okay? And in my experience, that's bullish price action. That's bullish behavior. When the volume is in the lows, that's bullish. It means people are buying the lows. So there's accumulation happening in the lows, right? And when I look at all of the exchanges, I'm seeing very similar behavior with the volume. Yeah, the point of control is in the lows, the volume is in the lows. Okay, every single exchange is telling me the same thing. If you do a volume pool on all of the exchanges, you can see that the point of control, when the most of the volume is in the lows, so there's accumulation, there's interest in the price in the lows. Yeah, and if you consider that this whole thing is just one big range, and you see that most of the volume is down here, yeah, I consider that as bullish behavior, bullish volume behavior, right? So that's giving me confidence at the moment, and the confidence that I'm getting is that all of the charts are saying the same thing. So there's no divergence in what the charts are telling me from the different exchanges. So that gives me added confidence, because it's not just one exchange. Like, people use different exchanges and they're all basically behaving the same way, that the volume is coming in at this current price, right? So that's number one. Number two, at the moment the price is above the point of control, and it looks like that the point of control is offering support to the price. At the moment, that's what it looks like. So if I was to show you, this is, I'm looking at the monthly time frame, but you see how this red line, which is the point of control, you see how it's like a dividing line between these candles. These candles are monthly candles, right? And so naturally the price is traversing up and down in between, and this line is becoming like a dividing line. And now in this month, the price is finally above this dividing line. It's above the point of control. So when the price comes above the point of control, it's like the price is coming on support. Yeah, it's like it's finally broken through. So before, the price was at the, you see here, the price is on top, it's resistance and it's support until it comes through, and now the point of control is acting as resistance until it finally breaks through. So we finally had a breakthrough this month. We're finally experiencing a breakthrough of the point of control. So we're flipping the point of control from support, from resistance into support, and that, in my mind, is bullish price action, is bullish behavior, because we're flipping a level from resistance into support. I think that was needed. Okay, and so that's giving me confidence in TRVL. It doesn't necessarily mean that I expect this to go to $1 tomorrow, but what it's doing is it's giving me confidence that we are in the lows, and that we're forming a floor, we're forming a bottom. Yeah, and so that's another thing. And also, when I'm looking at the volume in the last 2 months, I'm seeing an increase in volume. Yeah, and I'm seeing that on all of the charts. I'm seeing an increase in volume. Some exchanges have less, like Gate has less, but it's still increasing. KuCoin has the most. Mexi, it's not increasing yet, but it's still quite high. And actually the month hasn't ended yet, so we have to see how the month ends on Mexi. and on Bybit it's increasing volume. So when I see the price increase and the volume increase, and when I see that a significant level, a volume level, like the point of control, is in the process of being flipped from resistance into support, that's giving me confidence that we're forming the lows. Yeah, and naturally you want to buy the lows, but you want to buy it when the price is telling you that a really important level is flipping from support, from resistance to support. Okay, so that's something else to bear in mind. The other thing that I'm like interested in, and which I've explained before in my analysis, is that before in the past on the TRVL Bitcoin chart, when I did a volume pool in the past, the value area was like higher up, something like that. I did it in one of the previous videos. And recently what I've seen is that the value area has come down, has fallen, the point of control has come down, and now the price is finally getting back into the point of control. So I'm seeing bullish price action, which is giving me confidence. I'm seeing that against BTC, and I'm also seeing that against ETH. Yeah, so against ETH and against BTC, I'm seeing bullish price action where we're coming back above the point of control. I think that's quite bullish in the lows. And then when it comes to like candle formations and candle patterns, I'm starting to see bullish. Look at that volume increase. I'm starting to see bullish candles at the lows. So these inverse hammers, see that inverse hammer at the lows, that's a bullish candle. This one is a bullish candle, this one's a bullish candle. Yeah, and I'm seeing the same thing on Bitcoin. These inverse hammers in the lows are bullish. Yeah, they're not bearish, they're bullish. And I'm seeing that also on the USDT chart. I'm seeing bullish candles form at the lows. These are bullish candles, right? So this is something else I'm considering. And then the other thing is, obviously I've talked about this in the past. When you look at the higher time frame, the yearly time frame, you have a inverse hammer in the lows with really good volume. That's a bullish candle, and this is a yearly time frame. And I said this before last month. I said that this is a bullish candle, right? And that gives me confidence. You know, this candle gives me confidence to buy. Okay, and I'm seeing that on all of the charts. I saw the same thing. I saw a bullish inverse hammer in the lows. For me, that's a bullish candle, and naturally I'm buying. And that's the other thing, like when you look at the local price action, like everyone was bearish here when the price dropped, right? And it was bearish to lose this level, fine, and I said that. But I said, until we start making lower lows and start losing these lows and losing lower levels, you can't be bearish. And when I see that the price is taken up with volume like that, see that? That gives me confidence. That price action gives me confidence to buy, because I know that there are big players out there who are buying, big players with capital who are buying. Yeah, look how much volume was traded in this candle. What's this? This is Bybit. That's 1.13 million tokens. It's a lot of tokens. I'm seeing the same kind of behavior in the other exchanges. Look, that's 2.44 million. 1.4 million. You see, that's a lot of buying in these candles to take the price up. This is less, a few 100,000 on MEX. Yeah, so this is giving me confidence that to buy. To see this kind of behavior gives me confidence. Yeah, you want to see the price is getting bought up by significant players, significant people who want more and more of this token. And I think it's a shame for people who have small positions to get shaken out. I think the best strategy at the lows is to keep on buying, is to keep on scaling in, right? That's what I think. But ultimately, you know, you have to do what you have to do. You know, you do you and see what happens. I think also you have to be patient, because I am looking at the higher time frame, and for me the monthly time frame is the best time frame. I'm looking at the monthly time frame more than anything, actually, when I'm doing my own analysis. And you're going to get a lot of volatility within these candles. You know, the price differentiation between the low and the high, this candle is 200% up, and from the high to the low it's 66% down. You know, there's a lot of volatility per month. If you look at these monthly candles, there's a lot of volatility. So from this candle to up was 83%, and back down it was 44%. So if you're going to get shaken out with a move of 60% up and 40% down every single month, then it's going to be difficult for you, because you have to see that every single candle is forming these large ranges in price fluctuation. And I would expect this to continue. I would expect this behavior to continue, where the price could go up 50%, could go up 100%, could go up 200% and come back down. And that's just normal. When you look at the range of these candles, you see they're quite large. So just bear that in mind. Don't get shaken out just because the price goes up and down 200%. All right? That's my advice. I hope that helps. And then when it comes to the fundamentals, what I have videos on YouTube where I've talked about the fundamentals. I've shown them my business and how Dtravel has impacted my business, and how the product works. And the product does work, where people can book my properties, and it's all peer-to-peer. So the transaction is directly with me. So I think the fundamentals is sound. And I think technically that the TRVL is showing strength. And I think when it comes to the tokenomics, which I've talked about a lot, at the end of the day, I don't really think people don't misunderstand me. I'm not selling regardless, but the tokenomics changes will determine whether I hold at the end. Yeah, whether I hold at the end, and that's what I'm fighting for. I'm not necessarily fighting for the tokenomics because I don't think that we're going to hit the all-time high regardless. Yeah, so I think people need to understand what I'm saying. Yeah, I think regardless of what happens, regardless of anything that happens in this project, that we're going to see the all-time high. Or actually, this is on gate. I think honestly, I think we're probably going to see the gate all-time high. Actually, like, even though the all-time high is MEX, which is 1.56, I actually think that we're going to see the gate all-time high taken. That's what I think. I think we're going up to $3. I wouldn't be surprised if we go up to $3, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if it has nothing to do with the tokenomics. Absolutely nothing. And that's why I said I'd rather the tokenomics don't change than something mediocre come instead, like replace it. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, Dtravel Sensei, the search engine, is such an amazing thing that people are just going to buy the token speculatively anyway. Yeah, and later on in the bull market, there's going to be some exchange launches and some other things. I think we're going to get up there anyway. I don't really think, I'm not really worried about that. Honestly, I don't think any of that has I think the price dropping has a large portion of it has to do with the tokenomics, because I think people had no reason to hold or to buy or to accumulate this token, because the token had no value. Yeah. But in the contents of a Bitcoin bull market, and content is key, people are going to be speculating with loads and loads of coins. Like loads of coins are coming on the market every single day now. And most of them are rubbish. Most of them are rubbish. And yet most of them are seeing increases in value, 20x, 50x, 100x, whatever x, and they're rubbish, right? So I think in the context of a bull market, Bitcoin, and just this short period of time that we have, I think there's no reason why this token doesn't get back to the all-time high, regardless of anything the team does, regardless of the marketing. The marketing is rubbish. It doesn't really matter. The tokenomics is rubbish. That doesn't really matter. I think just because of the context of the bull market, we're going to see all-time highs. Just that's all. Yeah. Now, what I'm fighting for, what I'm fighting for is $25. What I'm fighting for is $125. That's what I'm fighting for. When what I'm pushing for, when I talk about tokenomics changes, when I talk about marketing, when I talk about other things like the DAO, I'm talking for higher. I'm aiming higher. I'm fighting for higher. And I don't see us getting to those highs in the current context of where we are, because I think once we get to these levels, most people will dump their tokens. Most people will dump their tokens. Yeah. And most people won't buy back in. Most people won't hodl their tokens. Yeah. I just don't see it. Why would you? 40% increase in value. If it goes up to the gate, all-time high, that's an 80%, 80x increase in value. You go to the all-time high, that's a 40x increase in value. Why would you hold? You would never do that. If you're sitting on a large position and it's increased in significant value, you're not gonna hold. You're not gonna hodl. So in my mind, unless we create a tokenomics on par with Bitcoin, then it would just that's all that's going to happen. Yeah, because you're not going to give people the reason to hodl. Yeah, it's just not going to happen. The network isn't developed enough. It's not valuable enough to warrant people hodling through the bear market. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter how great this project is. People aren't going to hodl through the next bear market. They will liquidate their positions and they'll wait and see what happens. Most people are going to behave that way. Yeah. And that's just the reality of crypto, and it's the reality of how crypto works. And even though like with a deep in project, it's possible that we have some sort of sideways higher time frame consolidation above this lower level that we've created, it's possible. The reality is that we don't know how long the next bear market is going to last. We don't know if the next Bitcoin halving in 28 is going to have the same impact, because by then the ETFs would have been well and truly established. We have no idea how that's going to react, how that's going to perform. Personally, I think we're going to see an extended bear market next time around. Personally, that's what I think. Okay, I think all of the Bitcoin behavior is going to change in the next 4 years, and the crypto markets is going to change personally. And I think if enough value, I think the problem is this: the runway is always going to be a problem. So is enough value going to be extracted by the foundation to secure the runway for the next 10 years? And then are people going to buy back in at these lows? Or is there going to be a mass evacuation? And then if we do see this kind of behavior, yeah, then no one's going to come back in. Literally no one. Because the one thing you won't want to do in a higher time frame situation is create a new all-time low. That would be basically the project failing, basically. Yeah. And unfortunately, all of this is possible unless you give people the incentive to hodl. Yeah, to hodl. And this is a conversation to be had, but I think the community needs to put more pressure on the team. And I think up till now, you know, I think Cynthia's been very responsive in the public setting, but the reality is the communication is still poor. It's still slow. There's still a lot of lack of transparency, and that needs to be rectified. And I think we need to behave differently, and we need to behave more maturely, and I don't see that yet. So, and then when it comes to the tokenomics, I think really we have three choices. We either develop something new, we copy something that already exists and works, or we don't change. Yeah, I don't really see more than three choices when it comes to the tokenomics. In my mind, it's Bitcoin. We copy Bitcoin. We make something completely new and hope for the best. It might or might not work, and it probably won't work in the long run because it's going to be too complicated. Or we don't change anything, and this is we just hope to get to the all-time high and see what happens, and probably most people will sell. And that's kind of where I'm imagining what could happen in the future. But we'll see what happens, you know, like who knows? Like no one can predict the future, and no one really knows what's going to happen. And there's just been some updates in the Telegram, so let me just go there now and have a look and see what's being said, just in case people aren't on the Telegram. They'll have to come to my videos. Let me see. Oh my god. Oh look, a booking has been processed. That's amazing. Cynthia says the version 3 smart contracts is step one of us implementing the protocol. With the version 3 contract upgrade, we're actually the first users of the protocol and putting bookings on chain. We're working with additional partners who also utilize the protocol and put other data on the chain and off the chain. For example, IPFS. Oh, look at that. New reservation. Love those. New operator signups. Chairman Meow. A question for the admins. Is Dtravel still endorsed by Binance, if it ever was? Or let's say, does it keep communication with Binance? For example, Dtravel was advertised by Binance quite a bit. Is there a similar relationship or plan to be for Dtravel, or are we more on our own? And then Safety Guy says, does any of the revenue from Dtravel get back to the token holders via token buybacks, burns, or staking rewards? This alone would incentivize hodling and or staking. Cynthia responds to Chairman Meow. Dtravel was initially launched by Travala, but because of the huge opportunity and work required, we spun into our own team. That's where the relationship with Binance originated. All right. Yes, that's the plan, to use it for buybacks. So she responds to Safety Guy. Okay. For your information, okay, this is Cynthia. We're setting up the community forum this weekend, so that we can launch that at the same time as we release all the new tokenomics details and have a place for community feedback. Right. So it sounds like they're still pushing ahead with their tokenomics documents. So we have to see how that plays out. Like, I think it's unfortunately, there's still going to be a little bit of a battle, so to speak, and maybe that's what's needed. But you know, I'm a bit disappointed at the moment in what's happening and what's going on. But you know, what can I do? You know, we just have to keep on doing what we're doing and see what happens. You know. But you know, it is a little bit disappointing. But I think the disappointment is the potential. I think this project has so much potential, and I think ultimately it's down to the community to make sure that we are on the right track, that we see the maximum of the potential. And I think the problem, in my mind, the problem is hunger. Like, I don't necessarily sense hunger, you know, but we'll see. I don't feel that there's hunger, but we'll see. But I think the problem is that, you know, will people hodl? I don't know. I don't know if people are going to hodl. I don't know. All right, let me see if there's any questions or comments. I have no idea. I haven't looked. Probably not. Is there any comments? Is anyone even watching? Oh, good morning, Craig. Shot Gaming. It's just you and me. Actually, I think there's more people. Let me see. Good morning, Craig. Shot. How's it going? There's a couple of people. So I'm not talking to myself. But I'll put this up as a video later, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, so I'll put this up as a video, and then you know, it's good to create content, huh? Because the good thing about what I'm doing, I think, is that, you know, future investors, and come on, they discover Dtravel TRVL for the first time, and it's good for them to see there's a lot of activity, you know, a lot of community activity. I wanted to show you something actually. Look at this. Let me find it. So when I started streaming, right? So if I go to my videos and go back to the oldest, live. So I started oldest. So look at this one. So this is when I started. Like, I just made it up. Look, this is rubbish. But I started on the 6th of December. And look, on TRVL. 6th of December. 6th of December. Here on this candle. So, I mean, on average, the price has only gone up. Yeah, it's not bad, huh? Like, I think I've helped keep the price up. So basically, from when I started, so far, see, the price is up 24% still. But I think that's an achievement, because for most people, they don't want to see the price go down. They want to see the price hold or kind of work its way up. So anyway. Yeah. What do you think? Does anyone have any requests? What time is it? Oh God, it's a bit later. Just catching up with my phone. Just sent Cynthia a message. I asked her a question. She hasn't responded. I don't get it. It's weird. Just, silence is uncertainty, huh? People keeping silent just doesn't give people confidence. You get confidence from that. You ask people questions and they just don't respond. I don't understand. I'm gonna ask her another question. So I do think that it is possible if people aren't. We have to see what happens with these tokenomics documents that they're suggesting, because if people don't like it, then maybe that ADA fractal will play out. Because I don't know what's going to happen with that ADA fractal. We're in a bit of a crucial moment right now. Let me go to the ADA fractal. Let me actually do something here. I want to see what the, if we pull the volume to that point there, yeah. So look, so we came into the point of control here. So we're quite overextended from the point of control on ADA when it reversed, and then it bounced, but this is the sign. Look, you see that? So by that time, we had a weekly close. No. Yeah, look at that. So initially, it closed into the point of control. It went up and came back down underneath it. Eventually, it was like on top of it because the point of control moved down. Then we had a retrace, and then it sold off in that week. So we are in this. How many bars are we? 12, 11 bars. 12 bars, 12 bars. 12 bars. That's next week. See that? So maybe next, like, this is the thing. I still don't know, because according to this, 12 bars. 12 bars on ADA, we're still good. It's the 11th bar where we drop, the 11th bar. So the 11th bar is not this upcoming week, it's the week after. And so that would be here. Oh, Cynthia asked, answered me. Let me see. I still have it in my mind that possibly there's going to be a bad reaction in a couple of weeks, in a week's time or a couple of weeks' time, to the tokenomics document. And we're going to see a drop. That's what I'm kind of, I don't know. I just have this feeling that we're still following this path. Yeah. And I don't expect that reaction now, because right now we're on bar, see, right now we're on bar 13, right? So on ADA, bar 13 was here. It's this red one. So one more doji week possibly, and then a reaction. And what I'm seeing, see what the announcement that was made just now, if I pull it on Telegram, look at this. See, look, for your information, we're setting up a community forum this weekend. So next weekend, probably next weekend, so that at the same time as we release all the new tokenomics details, we have a place for community feedback, right? So we have to see how this plays out, because it's really bizarre how all of this potentially coincides with I don't know, like, that would be this candle when they release it, this drop. So I'm just wondering if we do get a drop. We have to see. And I'm just wondering, like, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we might get a push up and then another drop, and then we'd see like three brutal weeks, and then we start seeing a buyback. 3 brutal weeks, and those brutal weeks could be this. On ADA, the price went down 72% in those 3 brutal weeks. 73% would put us down to basically my fib extension targets, which is about 1 cent. That's kind of what I'm imagining, actually. You know, like I'm getting my capital ready for this situation, because as far as I'm concerned, nothing's changed regarding my higher time frame analysis. And obviously, if the price goes up, I'm not going to have a problem, you know, because I'm already positioned in. Not going to have a problem with that at all. I don't need to buy more tokens, but I am getting capital ready just in case we see this kind of price action, you know. And I'm not going to catch a falling knife, but I do have my lower fib extension targets, which I planned out in the previous streams. Yeah. And I will aggressively buy those levels if we do experience the same kind of price action. And it's very interesting that oh, I haven't got the screeners on the wrong screen. Hold on again. I really need to figure this out. So look like that. Huh? No, can't see it still. Let me try this again. There. So look, so you see here. So right now we are in from the bull market beginning, the halving, we are in bar 13, right? And on ADA, bar 13 brings us to this red candle here. See that red one, right? So right now, actually, we have one more doji before potentially a sell-off. And it's interesting that this new forum is going to be launched soon. So I want to see how the price reacts to that. And so in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, well, look, if the price reacts well, then, and the price goes up and it starts rallying, fine. Like, it's no big deal, because I'm positioned in and I'm okay with that. You know, like, I'm not going to FOMO more in. I'm just going to be happy. I'm going to be delighted, you know, because I think it's important that you know, we just see what happens, you know, and see how the price reacts first. But I think if we were to follow an ADA path, then it will probably be in 2 weeks' time. So this week has ended, so next week would end, so probably in about 8 days' time. And that would bring us to bar 13. No, 11. It's bar 11. That would be here. And naturally, I think what you're expecting in that situation is another drop down to the point of control there. And according to this, actually, by the time it reached the point of control on that bar, the bar that it actually landed onto it, next bar had a reaction, but it was a close lower. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for that kind of, I think that's, then you'll have 3 brutal. The last week would be brutal, this last sell-off. And that's the one that you're trying to catch, this last one. And the confirmation for entry, I think if people are just a bit worried, I'm going to just, if that happens, I'm going to be aggressively buying these lower prices. So I'm just getting ready for that. That's why I'm not like aggressively buying now, just in case. And obviously if the price goes up, I'm not worried, you know, like, who cares? The price went up, I'm happy, actually. I'm not gonna, like, the thing is I'm not gonna try and defend the lows. And the reason why I'm not going to defend the lows is because I always let the price dictate. I don't like try and move the price myself. I'm not trying to control the price. I let the price tell me what's happening, and then I see where the price reacts, and then I take the trades. Like, I'm not looking to move the market. Yeah. So of course, if you have a bunch of people who defend these lows, the price could easily make a higher low here and continue up. And that would be my preferred scenario, because it means there's a lot of liquidity defending the lows. That's actually more bullish, because it gives me the confidence that there's a lot of interest, and there's a lot of big interest in this token. Gives me more confidence. But I'm also contemplating that there isn't going to be interest, because I am a bit worried about this tokenomics document. I don't think it's going to be amazing, and I think the price will react off that, you know. And there's always going to be a reaction, and I don't necessarily think people are going to buy. I think probably if, when you're like struggling to get any higher like this, we'll see. But that's kind of what I'm seeing right now, you know, like I'm seeing this kind of behavior. And then you, if you do land there, then you could see a sell-off. And that's this will probably be the buys, the opportunities. This candle here, all the way down. Now, let me see, what did this extend to? Look at this. Yeah, see, these are the targets I'm really looking for. Look, the 1.272, the 1.414, and the 1.618, right? So I am imagining that we maybe even we push down to the 1.618, and that's all the way down at a seventh of a cent. Can you imagine buying a shitload of tokens at 1 cent? That would be amazing. And then we see this kind of, you get like a doji, you get a little bit of kind of 3 weeks of indecision potentially, and then we start seeing another rally, and that would coincide with the Bitcoin halving. The price is back up, and then people start entering again. People who exited start coming back in. And I think the key to knowing a full reversal on this rally that begins here will be reclaiming the point of control here. See that? So the price goes up above the point of control, and it comes back to test the point of control here, and then it continues. And so naturally, I think in the future, what you're looking for is, if we do get some kind of uncertainty and a drop, and we do kind of come into these low prices, we start making our way back up. For a lot of people, the confirmation will be to get back up like that. And if effectively, then you're looking at some sort of V-shaped recovery. It'd be quite bullish, that kind of price, but and then you'd be expecting actually to get all the way back up into that channel which I have drawn here, that one, all the way up to there. Depends how you reach there, but possibly I actually think it would make sense in this kind of rally to get all the way back up into the golden pocket. So go all the way down here. I think the golden pocket will be lower as well. That's the thing. So we have to see how that plays out, because based on, like, this made a new low here in ADA. So obviously initially the golden pocket was here, but actually when you made a new low, it didn't go up to the golden pocket. See that? Whereas if we go down to, let's see how, if we go down to here, potentially we could come up into the golden pocket, potentially. That would make sense, huh? To just push up to the golden pocket there. And the golden pocket would be about 20 cents, 22 cents. And then we'll come back down to test 9 cents. That's here. So that would be a real opportunity. If we get a push down here, that would be a real good buy. We'll trade it all the way up to the golden pocket on the back test of this this channel. That would be your target. And then you'd be looking to re-enter on this level, this key level, which is 9 cents. And you're basically following ADA, basically. And you would actually, that would be your higher high. So this would be your, obviously your low low. Then you're getting a higher high. Then this 9 cents test would be the lower low. And then the minute you get above that level, back into that channel, you're going to the moon, basically. You're just laughing. This is kind of what I'm looking at the moment. And it's purely trading. I'm not like even, I really don't care about so much about Dtravel right now, because I think there's a lot of interest that's picking up in this token. I think when Sensei launches, there's going to be a lot more interest. And actually, maybe this drop is going to happen before Sensei launches. So based on my timings, we'll have to see. Because I think Sensei, they're planning to launch it at the end of February. But the way everything is happening now, everything seems to be delayed. So possibly it will be the beginning of March. And that could coincide with this timing as well. And that would naturally be a very bullish event, the Sensei launching. So it'd be amazing if we could get like a massive sell-off and catch it at this fib extension. I think that would be amazing. Like, this is my trade, really. This is what I'm looking for. And I asked Cynthia, the VC fund was asking for equity in a question in Telegram. I'm just wondering if you're offering to offer equity to venture. She responded as no, they're not. But, you know, again, this is the problem. She says, nothing is out of the question. You know, I hate that answer. I really do. Nothing is out of the question. The answer, the correct answer is it's up to the DAO. Let the DAO decide. That's the correct answer, you know. And until we get into that frame of mind, there's always going to be this kind of power struggle between the people at the top and the people, everyone else, you know, everyone else. And I don't really see the DAO functioning effectively unless the executive make themselves accountable to the DAO in a very tangible way. Honestly, I don't really see it. And I think everything that I'm saying is going to play out in the charts, but all of this potential rise is going to be nothing to do with the politics. It's going to be about the product and the publicity. So eventually we'll get a massive rally, we'll get venture interested, they'll all be buying the highs. And once you really, once you get into this higher part of this channel above the all-time high, maybe up into, I don't know how far it could go, $10, whatever, $6. Yeah, you'll be looking to, you know, there won't be any interest to keep on buying. And then you have to see what happens, because the pullback on ADA came all the way down to 20 cents. So from $3 they came back to 20 cents. It's not unforeseeable that we get a pullback all the way back down to 40 cents, 30 cents, 50 cents. Now if we hold this bottom of the channel in the future, that will be quite bullish. Yeah, but you know, it all depends on how aggressive people are selling, and it all depends on whether people value to hodl. And I don't know if people will do that with the current tokenomics model. I don't know. And Certainly not if they change it to some kind of arbitrary nothing. And that these are all questions that are for the future. So we have to see what happens. You know, it's really important to see what happens. All right. Any questions? Who's here? Anyone? Yeah, there's going to be I think there's going to be a reaction to this thing. It's fine. Just means you get cheaper tokens. Let's see the volume on this. Yeah, it's quite a big volume in this candle, like a big sell. Just crashed through all of that liquidity. But obviously no one sold the lows, and then people just started to buy back in. I think I'm probably going to set some orders lower down. Just thinking how low to do it. Set some orders there. Probably ladder in would be the best. I think probably the best way to play this is have your orders slightly above these levels. And I think the best way to do it, personally, I think it'll be better because if I go back to this price action, let me have a look on the daily chart. No, not on R1, on ADA. Maybe look at ADA. Let's see how the price dropped. All right, look at that. All right. So we had a one daily candle went into the 1414 close above the 1272. The next candle pushed all the way down to the 1618. All right. So I think probably the best way to play this would be to front run it and to have like to scale in your positions like this, just like that, just ladder in like that all the way down to the, and have something like that, and then just see what happens, you know, like, because we could get one more candle there, red one, few red ones, red one, red one, red one, like that. And that way you don't have to worry about how far it gets, because you're just laddering in, you're just scaling in. And then what you would expect is see where the price closes, and then you can ladder in more. So you obviously it's not going to fill completely, and then the next day you can just ladder in more, just keep on laddering in until it just starts to come back up. Yeah, and I think that's the best way to catch this. Personally, I think probably that's what I'm going to do. And I would probably do it with smaller amounts, because the other thing is we want to catch the low. I mean, don't we? We want to catch the low. We want to scare people off. If people are going to sell into the extension here, we want them to do that, really, because we want to buy it. Like, I'm just talking from a trading perspective. I don't even I'm not fussed really. If someone sells the lows after how many weeks and months I've told them not to, whatever. And so fundamentally what I want to do is figure out the best way to catch that drop. And I think probably if that happens, have lots of like smaller entries and just keep on just layer them up. And could probably start at the all-time low, to be honest with you, with smaller entries, and as you go down it gets thicker. Yeah, so I mean, just in case it just kind of does that, like a meh, you're still catching the low, you know, you're still getting in somewhat the low, and then the strategy isn't to pump it, because if you look at the price action here, after it goes down for a few weeks, it does go up and down like that. And realistically speaking, you don't want to pump the price. You want to let the price come into your limit orders. And so however low it comes, let's just say it doesn't come as low as we want. Let's say we set limit orders, however many, and the price comes in to like there, and you only catch a few. Realistically speaking, you want a few orders here on the way as well, just in case it only does that. Then as it bounces again, you want to put more orders and keep on doing it, so it keeps on filling your orders as it bounces. It's like bouncing, and so you're just catching the lows every time. And actually the behavior that I see here on ADA, yeah, I mean the bottom of these red wicks, look, that red wick, that one didn't hit, but that red wick, the bottom of these wicks are pretty good places to add limit orders, just at the bottom of the wicks. And so you're going to obviously get lots of negative, like once you get this kind of price action like we did in ADA, people are going to get really bearish. They're going to be like dumping their stat positions, and fundamentally it's like bigger people with a lot of capital can really gobble all of that low price up. I think a lot of the smaller fish are going to leave the ocean if that happens. We'll see. I'm planning for a bloodbath. Whatever. All right, I think my stream is over. It was fun. I like streaming. Good. Thanks for hopping on, mate. And until tomorrow. Did anyone want anything? All right. Have a good evening. Oh, there's 4 viewers. Why does no one say hi? All right. Gonna have lunch now.